only played 29 games last year, and you missed the season before that. And I've been wondering what the hell is taking you so long to get healthy. Well, now I know.
Morant now under investigation. The league launching that probe after the Memphis Grizzlies point guard appeared to display a gun on Instagram Live.
You know what?
In my experience, the worst people to deal with are the athletes. None of them use condoms, really. So if y'all really want to try to come up off a check off a man, you could just fuck an athlete. They're really dumb.
Prior to the 2019 NBA draft, the hype surrounding this draft class led by Zion Williamson and Morant was extraordinary, and with good reason. In the case of Morant, he would prove to further exceed the sky-high expectations put on him, and his swift rise to stardom quickly caught the attention of the NBA world. As for Zion Williamson, despite showing glimpses of Shaq-like dominance, his inability to stay healthy drew question marks that outweighed his talent. Regardless, the pair would soon become household names and acquire near-max contracts. However, their rise to basketball fandom was short-lived, and their careers would seemingly crash and burn as a result of nothing but their own actions. In this draft class, outside of Zion and this class had other prospects that saw themselves not unfamiliar to controversy that may have been forgotten. Drafted at 8th by the Hawks, later traded to the Pelicans, Zion's teammate Jaxon would later see himself involved in serious domestic abuse allegations and arrested by police. And 12th pick PJ Washington would be involved in a controversial incident within his personal life that would gain widespread virality. But how did this happen? How did within only 4 years see multiple top prospects of this draft class gain widespread notoriety for not their basketball ability, but rather baby mama drama, issues with the police, and flexing firearms? These are the questions we'll be answering in this breakdown of the controversies of the 2019 NBA draft class. Welcome to Sportsphere. Let's get into it. To begin, we have the 12th pick of the 2019 NBA draft, PJ Washington. And as you probably know, he would have a high-profile relationship with the infamous Brittany Renner, who would allegedly trap him into having a baby with her in 2021. The Renner and Washington relationship began during PJ's college years playing for the Kentucky Wildcats in 2017. Back then, the 26-year-old Renner formed a connection with the 19-year-old PJ and frequently attended his college games. However, their relationship took a different path a few years later, prompting PJ to reveal his true feelings about it on Twitter in late July 2021, shortly after the birth of their child. PJ Washington would claim in a tweet, saying that, "You were faking it all along," clearly referring to his relationship with Brittany Renner. In response, Renner would send this exact voice message that she later aired out on an episode with DJ Vlad.
I will air this bitch the fuck out! Delete the fucking tweet!
In that same interview, Renner openly confessed to her toxic behavior during their relationship.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I was very toxic.
This sentiment resonated strongly within the NBA and hip-hop communities once details about their involvement became public. It would later be revealed that as a result of their newborn child, Washington was apparently legally obligated to pay $200,000 per month in child support to Renner. Although both PJ and Renner would later dispel these rumors, this news would still make national headlines and stir discussion regarding the ethics surrounding the situation and Renner's actions, especially after this video of Renner came to light. Listen closely.
In my experience, the worst people to deal with are the athletes. None of them use condoms, really. So if y'all really want to try to come up off a check off a man, you could just fuck an athlete. They're really dumb.
However, to be fair, PJ is not entirely blameless in this situation. The truth is, had he truly understood Brittany Renner's character, he could have avoided these circumstances. Renner rose to fame in 2013 through a series of fitness videos, and subsequently became a well-known Instagram model, which led her into a series of short-lived relationships with various rappers, athletes, and other notable personalities. In 2018, 5 years later, Brittany Renner published a book called Judge This Cover, where she revealed her childhood traumas, past relationships, and intimate encounters with numerous well-known celebrities of today. The truth is, if PJ had delved into Brittany Renner's past, he would have realized that she was likely not the kind of person suitable for a long-term relationship, let alone a good prospect to become the mother of his child. However, perhaps driven by desire, Washington disregarded all warning signs and made a decision he will likely regret for the remainder of his life. Now, shifting our focus from PJ Washington, let's turn our attention to Jaxson Hayes, the 8th pick of the 2019 NBA Draft. Regretfully, Hayes later involved himself in a series of alleged violent acts 2 years later that he would likely come to regret. Born into an athletic family in 2000, Hayes quickly gained a reputation as an exceptional rim finisher during his high school years. This skill translated into highly efficient performances during his freshman season at the University of Texas. Following his successful year, he decided to enter the NBA draft and was initially chosen by the Atlanta Hawks as the 8th pick before being traded to the Pelicans. Unfortunately, Hayes didn't receive significant playing time despite occasionally showcasing his impressive athleticism through eye-catching dunks and blocks. Factors like his slim build and other considerations contributed to him spending most of his time on the bench for the Pelicans. However, it was an incident in mid-2021 that brought Hayes more attention than his NBA career had garnered, but for all the wrong reasons. In the early hours of July 28, 2021, Jaxson Hayes' residence was raided by the police following serious allegations of domestic violence made by his partner during a phone call to the police.
New Orleans Pelicans center Jaxson Hayes is facing charges after being arrested by the LAPD. It happened yesterday during a domestic violence call.
Following his arrest, the altercation with the police left Hayes with minor injuries, requiring hospitalization before being taken to the police station. The incident, captured on police body cam footage, prompted an investigation into whether excessive force was used during Hayes' arrest. However, the public never received information about the investigation's findings. Initially, Hayes faced a total of 12 misdemeanor charges, including 3 counts of causing bodily harm to a spouse, 2 counts of domestic battery, 1 count of assaulting an officer, 1 count of false imprisonment, 3 counts of vandalism, 1 count of aggravated trespassing, and 1 count of resisting arrest. While several of these misdemeanors were eventually dropped, approximately a year later in June 2022, Hayes received an official sentencing of 3 years of probation, 450 hours of community service, and a mandatory participation in weekly domestic violence classes. July 28, 2021 would later prove to be a regretful day for Hayes, where till this day he still faces the consequence for his actions. Moving on to the more well-known story regarding the 2nd overall pick in the 2019 draft, Ja Morant. As you probably know, Ja would involve himself in a series of concerning incidents, beginning with the Red Laser incident, involving the Indiana Pacers in February 2023. During a home game against the Indiana Pacers in early 2023, tensions escalated between Morant and Pacers player Chris Duarte in the 3rd quarter. This led to a heated exchange of words and physical pushing. Ja's father T and his friend Devontae Pack, identified as spectators, confronted the Pacers bench and allegedly made verbal threats. As a result, Devontae Pack was escorted out of the arena by security and later banned for a year. After the game, friends of Morant allegedly confronted members of the Pacers' traveling party near their team bus. The Pacers reported a red laser pointed at them from a slow-moving SUV carrying Morant, but no weapon was confirmed in the NBA investigation. A few weeks later, on March 1, 2023, the Washington Post would break news of 2 separate incidents that would bring further questions surrounding Ja's character. The first incident occurred during a pickup basketball game at Morant's residence a while back, where an apparent physical altercation occurred. Morant was accused of assaulting a 17-year-old and flashed a gun from his pants. He argued it was self-defense, claiming the teenager had threatened to return and cause harm. And Morant's agent would later deny the allegations as unsubstantiated rumors. Another accusation would emerge in the same article, involving Morant's mother and a dispute with a store employee at a local mall. Morant was apparently called up by his mother and later arrived at the mall with 9 friends. Allegedly, Morant and his friends threatened the security guard and harassed him after his shift, leading to a filed police report. However, no arrests were made. By this point, Morant's troublesome behavior slowly built him a controversial reputation among the NBA community. These allegations, coupled with his lifestyle, heavily suggested that he was embracing a wannabe gangsta persona. At this point, although the obvious sensible decision would be to lay low and allow this media storm to pass, Ja would go on to do the exact opposite. As we know, on March 14th, 2023, Ja would go on his Instagram Live and flex what appeared to be a firearm while attending a strip club in Denver. He swiftly issued a public apology for his actions, but the timing seemed extremely rushed and later proved to indeed be short-lived. Unsurprisingly, a few months later, he once again showcased a firearm on his friend's Instagram Live. Consequently, he received an 8-game suspension for the initial incident, followed by a 25-game suspension for the second. The series of troubling allegations and incidents raised significant concerns about Ja's influences around him, potential alcohol addiction, and mental health issues. Considering he recently signed a nearly $200 million contract, the media showed sympathy towards Ja's situation, acknowledging him as a young player already deemed as a superstar, who had too much money and influence to know what to do with. However, Ja must now face the repercussions of his actions and will miss a substantial portion of the season. Hopefully this serves as a reminder for him to receive proper guidance, reflect, and adopt a lifestyle more aligned to the one that initially propelled him to his current position. As for the number 1 pick of the 2019 NBA Draft, Zion Williamson, who was previously hailed as the best prospect since LeBron, has had a disappointing career so far, and recent events shed light on the reasons behind it. Despite his on-court success, Zion has missed a significant number of games, sitting out in a shocking 188 out of a possible 302 games in his first 4 seasons. Over the years, it's become increasingly clear that his recurring injuries can be attributed to his inability to maintain a healthy weight, suggesting a lack of discipline or lack of motivation of playing basketball. To add to the turmoil, in early June, news broke out, revealing that Zion impregnated a stripper, which later led to another figure in the sex industry, adult actress Mariah Mills, to expose the relationship out of apparent jealousy of the stripper. Mills made numerous claims and attacks about Zion's weight and alleged sex addiction, also sharing screenshots of substantial monetary transfers from Zion to her bank account, totaling close to 6 figures. Mills would unrelentingly shade Zion and expose more parts of their intimate life, before later threatening to expose a sex tape of her and Zion. Although she was later banned from Twitter for making these threats, the details she revealed of her personal involvement with Zion shed light on his true priorities. And it sadly appears that Zion's passion for basketball may be long gone, especially considering he has already reaped the financial rewards of a near $200 million max contract. As a result, all we see now is an undisciplined Zion Williamson that can barely even see the basketball court, and with no one to blame but himself. In the short 4 years that followed the 2019 NBA draft class entering the NBA, we would see multiple top picks be involved in some of the most unbelievable and ridiculous incidents reported in sports media. As a result, these events would gain widespread attention that would largely overshadow any achievements they had on the basketball court. These young players' experiences serve as a testament to their lack of maturity and expose the challenges of young, wealthy men navigating a lifestyle beyond the reach of the average person. PJ Washington found himself regretting having a child with a promiscuous woman with an infamous reputation, while Jaxon Hayes to this day faces punishment following a string of emotional outbursts made on one forgettable night. The Grizzlies star Ja Morant would later see himself absent from his team for 25 games after a series of lapses in judgment, largely tarnishing his reputation as an NBA superstar. Not to mention, the once acclaimed generation prospect in Zion Williamson would recently have his dirty laundry exposed to the world, unveiling his lack of passion for the game of basketball itself, rather an affinity to the lifestyle that it provides. Overall, the talented 2019 NBA draft class has headlined numerous top picks who have shown some extremely questionable behavior to say the least, making it one of the most idiotic draft classes in NBA history. With their short careers already marked by significant controversies, it will be interesting to see whether they learn from their past actions and strive for improvement. Only time will tell. Thanks for watching SportsSphere. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you want to see a full timeline of exactly how Ja Morant ruined his NBA career, click below. See you in the next video.